Hi, I'm Solène and I'm the designer behind Solène Knits. And I love stranded knitting because I get to put colors and patterns together to create something beautiful. So if you like stranded knitting too, or if you're eager to try it, I want to give you some tips today about how to choose the perfect colors that will really make your stranded knits shine. So I have a few tips for you. First tip and first question to ask yourself when you're choosing your colors for stranded knitting is solid or multicolored. And so of course choosing solids or semi-solids colors is the safest choice because you're sure that you will have enough contrast between your colors to make them shine, and it's easier to see the pattern. But sometimes I know we want to try our more extravagant yarns with a lot of colors in them, and you can absolutely choose those yarns for stranded knitting, but be careful. So my tip, if you want to work with a multicolor yarn, is to either choose a very simple stranded pattern. So if you have like a simple triangle shape, for example, you can play more with colors and have them fade into each other with your stranded knitting pattern. Um, or if you have a more complex stranded pattern and you really want it to pop out, then you can choose one multicolored yarn and one solid. But be very careful that you have enough contrast between those colors, and that there aren't like some part of the multicolored yarn that you find the same color in the solid yarn, because in that case the pattern will tend to blur and you won't get the really eye-catching result that you're hoping for. So be careful with that, and you can choose a safe choice is to choose a neutral color. So if you have a very bright multicolored yarn with lots of colors in it, you can choose a grey, a white, or a black dark color to go with it, and it will look so pretty. So second tip is contrast. So that's one thing that you need to make sure when you're choosing colors for stranded knitting, is that you have enough contrast between your colors. And one very easy way to do that is to put your so take a photo of your yarns together and to put it in black and white, because when there are lots of colors, sometimes we can't really see the contrast between them. We don't know which one is the darker, and so putting it in black and white really makes it all more clear. So take a quick photo of your yarn, put it in black and white, and see which one is darker than the other, and then you can see if you have enough contrast between your colors. So that's very important, especially if you're using colors that are quite close in value. So for example, if you're using yellow and orange, they can be quite close to each other. So if you check your contrast, you can see, okay, now I have this one that is way darker than the others, so this will work perfectly. So now the third tip is the color wheel. So that's a fun way to choose colors. So you can like Google color wheel, you can find tons of color wheels online. Some are even interactive, so you can play around with them. And so when you choose colors, there are a few ways to choose color with the color wheel. You can choose opposite colors. So for example, you have yellow and purple, or orange and blue. Those are at opposite sides of the color wheel. So even if they are close in value and don't have much contrast between them, you are absolutely sure that they will really pop out when you're working them together in a stranded pattern. If you have more than two colors to choose, you can also choose a triad of colors. So like draw a little triangle on your color wheel and see what colors are at the end of each side of the triangle. And so for example, we can choose green, red and blue that are at three opposite sides of the color wheel, and so these colors will really work well together and really pop out. And you can also choose a closer color in the color wheel, but in that case, just like I said before, really check your contrast to make sure that they work well together and that they won't blur into each other when you're working your pattern. And my fourth tip is about main color and contrasting color. So often when you're working a stranded pattern, you will see these two words, and so there's often one main color and one or more contrasting colors. So the main color is your background usually, and be careful when you choose which color you want to put as a background and which color or colors you want to put as contrasting colors, because my advice is to, if you're choosing a fair background, to put all your contrasting colors as, to have all darker colors as contrasting colors, and vice versa. So that way you can make sure that your background will really, well, that your contrasting colors will really stand out on your background. And one question to ask yourself is, do you want a fair background or a darker background? And so it really depends on your choice, of course, and on what type of pattern you're working. If you're working like a very figurative design and you want the drawing to really pop out, our eyes tend to be more attracted to darker colors, so putting a fair background and the darker color for your pattern, figurative pattern, so if you do that, you will make sure that it really stands out, and that's the first thing that we'll get to see when we look at your knits. So those are some tips that you can use to choose your colors. So feel free to choose, well, follow one or two or more of those tips, and the most important thing is to have fun with the process, to trust your instinct, and to choose colors that you will love knitting and that you will love wearing too. And so I hope that you enjoyed this video and this few little tips. If you're looking to learn or improve your stranded knitting, I'm running a free challenge called the Color Adventure Stranded Knitting Challenge. It's starting on June 30th, and so I will share all of my tips to create beautiful knits. There will be videos to help you, and we will knit like a recipe call pattern together to experiment all those tips. And so there will also be a fun community to share your progress with. So I hope that you'll join us. I will put the link below for you to find all the infos. And so if you have any questions about the challenge or about choosing your colors, don't hesitate to put them in the comments. And I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon, hopefully, and have a beautiful day.